Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the JP Football Podcast. I am your host, of course, Josh, and welcome again. Just welcome to another episode of the channel. Okay, so today, oh boy, we have some transfer news to talk about today regarding Everton. And then we're going to get into the big world football transfer that just happened not that long ago. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's okay because we're going to get into it. Also in this episode today, we're going to discuss the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Europa Conference League. That's right. We're getting into some European competitions today because, again, those competitions are like some of the biggest in club world football. So that's why we're going to talk about it. But anyways, let's start it off with Everton and their transfers, just like I said. So again, at the time of recording this video, this is all I know about the most recent Everton transfers and rumors. Okay. So if something comes up literally right after this video, like, oh, Everton have signed this, but this, and I don't mention it again, this is all the information I know as of right now, right this second. So hopefully nothing crazy happens as soon as I end the video, because that would be tragic. So anyway, we'll get right into it. So Juventus, we're going to start talking about Juventus and Everton because there's been a link. So Juventus are currently apparently working on a loan deal to sign Moise Kean. Now, the Italian is believed to be the top replacement for Cristiano Ronaldo. Again, we'll get into him later. And the deal will be a permanent transfer or a loan with an obligation to buy. It won't be a straight loan deal. This is according to David Ornstein, who is a journalist. So that is your source right there. Yeah, you know what? Again, I don't want to talk about Ronaldo right now, but I kind of have to allude to him. But yes, he's left Juventus, and I will tell you what team he has joined later if you don't know already. But so Ronaldo has in fact left. So Juventus looking for a top replacement for him. Again, you're not going to replace Cristiano Ronaldo. There's no player on the planet really that comes close to what he's achieved or what he can still do at the age of 36. I mean, unless it's Maupay or Haaland, or like, we're talking world class elite, future GOATs per se. But, other than that, that's who Juventus, would really need to really replace Ronaldo. Because I think Ronaldo's done pretty well at Juventus. He scores loads of goals for him. I thought he did well. But yeah, Moise Kean is the top replacement. I mean, I get it. I understand. Moise Kean is still a pretty young player, still got a lot of potential and talent in him, which is why it's so frustrating. His time at Everton has been so frustrating because of the talent he has. And, he's still a young prospect, and it's just hasn't been good for Moise Kean and Everton. It really just hasn't worked out. And honestly, I think if Everton keep him, I think if we keep Moise Kean for this season, I think it's going to be more the same old thing in which he either doesn't get enough game time, doesn't get enough minutes, is not going to score the number of goals we want and know he can potentially score. I just don't think it's going to be good for Moise Kean's career if he continues to stay at Everton, coming from an Everton fan, because again, he's not getting over DCL. So yeah, but Juventus, I mean, when Everton signed him, we signed him from Juventus. So him going back, I could see that as a pretty good move for him. I mean, and he's Italian as well, playing in the Italian league for a top team. It'll get the Italian national team looking at him more. So I actually like the move. I think that we should sell Moise Kean to Juventus, especially since we'll be getting money for him. I'd say 25-30 million sounds about right. I would push for 40, but I doubt Juventus will pay 40. So 25-30 million would do. And then we could use that money to buy a right back. For fuck's sake, please. We could use that money to buy a right back or someone else, because that's what we need. That is what we need. So again, I actually hope the move goes through. But again, not a loan. I would not loan, a buy. You buy him, no loan. That's it for me. Has to be a buy, no loan. So that's that. Moving on then. According to The Guardian, yeah, Everton are eyeing Brighton's Neil Maupay as potential replacement for Richarlison. I'm just going to have another quick moment of silence and reread that to you. Everton are eyeing Brighton's Neil Maupay as potential replacement for Richarlison, according to The Guardian. How about no? How about no? No. No, 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 no. Nope. Nope. No. No. Again, I do not want Neil Maupay at Everton. And honestly, if Richarlison does leave, and I will get into that as well, but if Richarlison does leave and we bring in Neil Maupay as his replacement to Everton, we're finishing in the lower half of the table. Because Neil Maupay is not going to replace all the goals and assists that Richarlison has provided us, last season throughout. And again, I know Richarlison didn't have a very good season last season, but if you mean to tell me that Neil Maupay is better than Richarlison, you don't know football. And I don't know what to tell you. But look, no. If Richarlison goes, we're going to get a lot of money off of that. Buy a player worth that money we're getting off of Richarlison, or at least somewhere close to that player worth Richarlison. Neil Maupay is not the answer. Everton better know this. I'm sure the fans know this. Again, no Neil Maupay. Say no to Neil. No. The only reason I would even accept Neil Maupay coming to Everton is if he were a backup striker to Calvert-Lewin. Yeah, if he were a backup striker to Calvert-Lewin, and if he accepted that that's what his role would be, a super sub for Calvert-Lewin and his backup. Other than that, no. Neil Maupay shouldn't be replacing a single Everton forward in our lineup because all our forwards are better than Neil Maupay, okay? They're better than Neil Maupay. So, yeah. And we better be buying him for cheap, too. Ain't no way Everton should spend 15, 20 mil on Neil Maupay. Not even 10. Maybe like a little under 10 million at best for Neil Maupay. That's what I got to say about that. We better not be. So The Guardian saying that, I hope it's crap. I hope it's just a rumor, nothing more. Nope, don't want it. And now, leading into the whole Neil Maupay saga, leading into Richarlison. Now we can talk about Richarlison and why Everton are even looking at Neil Maupay, apparently, of all people, in the first place. Here's the thing, folks, and I'm pretty sure I've said this in previous videos, but Paris Saint-Germain, one of the top clubs, one of the top teams in the world, PSG, they are interested in signing Richarlison, okay? They're interested in getting him. Now, Everton, we are very aware of the situation, and then Rafa Benitez later came out today saying we are not considering selling him, which sounds good, but the key word there is considering. He's not considering selling him, which means I believe if PSG came up with the right amount of money to buy Richarlison, Rafa might change his mind and be like, you know what? We are considering selling Richarlison, which I don't like. I don't want Richarlison to leave. Again, I'm wearing his jersey. Oh, well, that's a horrible show, but I'm wearing his jersey. I love Richarlison, and I don't want him to leave Everton yet. I don't. I really don't. I understand why if the right amount of money came in, I understand why we would sell him. But, as an Evertonian, I love Richarlison, and I wouldn't want him to go. But, yeah, here we go. And, well, and this is why I said I'm kind of scared with Rafa saying not considering being the keyword, because apparently a few hours later, Everton, according to UOL Sports, so UOL Sport, Everton want 120 million euros for Richarlison. Granted, there's no way PSG are paying 120 million euros for Richarlison. There's no way. I know they signed a lot of players on free, like Messi, Ramos, and them. And I know they got Hakimi for a decent money. I think they got Donnarumma on a free. Again, PSG have had the best transfer window out of any team in the world. But 120 million euros for Richarlison. And again, this is all speculation to if Mbappe leaves, because again, if Mbappe stays, which I really do believe he's going to stay, and Real Madrid don't get him, then, well, there's really no reason to get Richarlison, especially for 120 mil. Now, if PSG were to pay the 120 mil to Richarlison, then yeah, I'm sorry, Richie, but yeah, like you can't say no. You can't say no to a player. You can't say no to someone wanting to buy your player for 120 mil unless it's, Neymar or Mbappe, someone like that, because that would be considered too low. But yeah, 120 mil could do Everton wonders. Not only could we get a right back, but we could get just a plethora more players to improve the squad. But again, PSG aren't going to do it. I don't see this happening. I see Richarlison staying as an Everton player this season, maybe next season. Again, Mbappe will leave for Real Madrid probably next season. The transfer window is less than a week of closing. August 31st is when, I think the deadline closes. So there you go on that. But again, I don't want to focus on next season. I want to focus on the present now this season. So again, Mbappe will stay at PSG, meaning Richarlison will stay at Everton. And that's all I really have to say, that unless a miracle happens, which I don't think it will happen. So Richarlison rumors, they do seem scary, but rumors, nothing more. Don't think it'll happen. Now, however, moving on, according to the Liverpool Echo, Everton are interested in Porto winger Louise Diaz, and James Rodriguez is to be used as a make-weight in the deal. I like Louise Diaz, okay? Louise Diaz is actually a pretty good player. He has quality to him, and he would definitely help bolster the depth in our squad for as far as wingers are concerned in case one of them goes injured. Oh, who cares? We got Louise Diaz. Again, good player. I like Louise Diaz. I rate him a lot. And, Porto, top Portuguese club. And, yeah, they're a good team, Porto. And, but James Rodriguez as a make-weight in the deal, it sounds to me like, are we trying to do a swap deal here? Like, we'll give you James for Louise Diaz. That's a bit of a tricky one. Now, we all know James. He used to play for Porto back in his earlier days, and he was awesome for them. He was amazing for Porto. And again, if you're asking me, James Rodriguez, Louise Diaz, James Rodriguez, all day, every day, 100%. James Rodriguez, even though Louise Diaz is really good, James Rodriguez all day, every day. But the problem with James is that, again, it just seems he doesn't want to be at Everton. He doesn't want to be with our club anymore. And unfortunately, no matter how big of a name of a player you are, if you don't want to be at the football club, then the best course of action is you should probably leave and go play your football somewhere else, because it's just negative. It's negative energy. And I don't want any negative energy to be at Everton. So as much as I love James Rodriguez, if this deal with Porto went through, in which they're like, hey, we'll give you Louise Diaz for James Rodriguez, a swap deal like that, I'd go for it. I really would. I'd go for it because, I'm sure if a move fell through, I'm sure Louise Diaz will probably want to play more for Everton than James Rodriguez, So that's kind of that. But however, I saw some other rumor or transfer that we would have to pay around a little over 20 mil for Louise Diaz, in which that case, no, then this move shouldn't happen at all. Again, if Everton have any money, and I'm going to be saying this, I feel, for the next couple of days until the transfer window ends. But if Everton have any money to spend, we should not be spending it on wingers. We should be spending it on looking for a right back. Again, I'm going to keep repeating myself, y'all, because that's just the truth of the matter, okay? John Joe Kenny is not good enough. And Seamus Coleman, I'm sure he agrees himself, he needs a right back to back him up as well, because he's getting a little bit too old for to consistently play 30 plus games a season, okay? So that's that. But again, I rate Louise Diaz, but if Everton have any money to spend, we really should be spending it on other areas of our squad. Moving on. Now, according to Sky Sports, Everton have sounded out Celtic for a deal for striker Odsonne Edouard. Now, I like Edouard a lot. Okay, I think he's quality for Celtic. I know they play in the Scottish League, and there aren't too many as competitive teams, but Edouard, I like him. He's a good player. And I wouldn't mind him coming to Everton. I wouldn't mind him coming to Everton now, and I wouldn't have minded him coming to Everton a few seasons ago when I thought Everton should have gotten Edouard at the time. Now, again, what did I just say about, well, I don't know, 30, 45 seconds ago? If Everton have any money to spend, you can finish the sentence. Spend it on a right back. As much as I like Edouard, I think this is all speculation. I don't think we'll actually go for him. And I think it's the right move not to go for him, because with the little money we have, we should be spending it on a right back. And that's the last I'm going to say of that today. That's the last I'm going to say of Everton transfer rumors today. So that's that. Ooh, something popped up. Sorry. So then moving on from Everton to the biggest thing going on in world football, Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah, the second greatest player of all time. That guy has just agreed to go and sign for Manchester United for 15 million euros, along with a potential further 8 million euros an add-on. And the 36-year-old is signing a 2-year contract for it, according to ESPN sources. Well, welcome back to the Prem, Ronaldo. Last time he was in the Prem was for Manchester United 12 years ago when he left them for Real Madrid. And at the time, it was a world record fee of like 80 million pounds, euros, something crazy like that. But so Ronaldo back in the Premier League. Obviously, he makes Manchester United better than they already were. I think him and Bruno Fernandes, that Portuguese link up, that partnership is going to be absolutely key and clinical to United winning big this season. Now, United, Chelsea, and Man City are one of those three teams are going to win the Premier League this season, okay? And United have just upped their odds of winning it by getting Ronaldo. This is a fantastic signing for them. I don't know what else to say. It's Cristiano Ronaldo, man. I don't care if he's 36 years of age. He's still got it. He's still got it in his locker. He's still an unbelievable player. He's still one of the best players in the world at that age. And again, amazing signing for United. And by the way, to those of you who really thought that Cristiano Ronaldo was going to join Manchester City, United's biggest rivals, you're a fool if you thought that. I'm sorry, but you're an absolute fool if you thought that. I don't care how big the rumors were. I don't care how close apparently they got to a deal. There was no way he was joining arch rivals of a club he formerly played for. That's like saying Messi would join Real Madrid. Never gonna happen in a million years. Never, ever, ever gonna happen. And again, this Ronaldo to United, is it a big shock? Yes, of course. It's one of the biggest shocks of the transfer windows this year up to date. This transfer window overall has been crazy worldwide football, okay? But Ronaldo to United, again, this kind of definitely came out of nowhere. It's a big shock, but props to United. They're going to be a lot of fun to watch this season. And yeah, who knows if Ronaldo will take the 7 jersey from Cavani, or he'll pick a different number like Messi picked 30. Who knows, man? Who knows? But I feel for Cristiano Ronaldo, this is one of the very few clubs that I feel he should play for, and he does feel home at. The other two would have been Real Madrid and Sporting Lisbon, but this club right here, United, he definitely one of the clubs I feel he'll feel at home at, if that makes sense. So, yeah. Anyway, that's enough transfer rumors and transfer talk for today. Now we're going to jump into European competitions. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Drum roll, please. We are going to be talking about the Champions League. We're going to be talking about the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Europa Conference League. That's right. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The three biggest, arguably the biggest. Well, Champions League is the biggest. Europa is pretty big, but the introduction of this Europa Conference League, another top European competition in Europe. So, by the way, for those of you who are a bit new to football, the Champions League is basically where the top teams in all of Europe and all that, they compete against each other. Their club teams compete against each other to win the Champions League trophy. Europa League is similar, in which, again, Europa League is basically like Champions League. Well, it's not like, okay, let me rephrase it. How do I explain this to? Okay, so Europa League is another European competition. It's the division below the Champions League. It's basically for teams who weren't good enough to play in the Champions League, but they're still really, really good football teams. So instead, they play in the Europa League. And then the Europa Conference League is the third division. It's right below the Europa League, in which, again, teams that weren't good enough to make the Europa League, but are still really good football teams, are going to be playing in the Europa Conference League. And the Europa Conference League was just founded this season. And I'm a really big fan of it because, again, I do believe there are a ton of European teams out there, a ton of teams who are still very good, who don't make Champions League, who don't make Europa League. So adding the Europa Conference League, I think, is a really good idea because it'll introduce teams that, again, are really, really good football teams that a lot of people probably never heard of, never won about. And again, it's European football. It's European competition. A big trophy is at stake. It's at hand. So I absolutely love it. But anyway, we're going to talk about the Champions League. We're going to talk about the teams in the group. I'm not going to go into description of every single one because that would take way too long, way too much time. And yeah, so here's how it's going to go. We're going to talk about the teams in the group. I'm going to circle the teams who I think will top the group and move on to the knockout stages. And that'll be that. So Group A. Now, this is considered one of the groups of death, which I think is really stupid because the real group of death is Group B. But anyway, one of the groups of death, I guess. Group A, Manchester City, a team from England, plays in the Premier League top division. PSG, you should know them, team from France, playing in the French top division. Red Bull Leipzig, top team in Germany. And then Club Brugge, top team in Belgium. By the way, all of these teams that I'm listing, whether they be Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, all these teams, they all play in the top divisions in their country, okay? All of them play in the top division in their country. So City, PSG, Leipzig, and Club Brugge. I'm going to circle who I think, again, is moving on. I am circling Man City, and I am circling PSG. I don't see how there's any way that these two don't finish top two in the group. Too bad to Leipzig and Club Brugge. My picks are City and PSG. Now, moving on to Group B. Atletico Madrid from Spain. Liverpool. Oh, God. Sorry. I hate Liverpool. Oh, even saying. Liverpool, top team in England. Porto from Portugal. And then AC Milan from Italy. This is the real group of death. This is going to be the most competitive group this season in the Champions League, in my opinion. And it's so difficult to who's going to come out top. But here's the thing. I'm going to circle Atletico Madrid as one of the teams. And I hate Liverpool, so I'm not circling them. And I'm going to circle AC Milan. So Atletico Madrid and AC Milan are my picks to go up the top. Now, Group C of the Champions League. You got Sporting Lisbon from Portugal, Borussia Dortmund from Germany, Ajax from Netherlands, and then Besiktas from Turkey. I'm going to go with Dortmund and Ajax topping this group. Dortmund and Ajax topping the group. I think Holland's going to have a good Champions League, and then I just think Ajax is going to pull through. I just think they're the better team. Now, Group D of the Champions League. Inter Milan, I'm already going to circle them because even though they lost Lukaku, they're still a top side. Real Madrid, I'm already going to circle them. I mean, there's no question in my mind, Real Madrid. And then the last two teams, Shakhtar Donetsk. Oh, by the way, Inter Milan from Italy, Real Madrid from Spain. Last two teams in Group D for the Champions League, Shakhtar Donetsk from Ukraine and FC Sheriff from Moldova. Now, before I move on, let me just say this. I like Shakhtar Donetsk a lot. They've been a top Ukrainian team in their league. They've won titles recently. They've been a top side in their league for a long, long time. And I hope they win the league this season. I'm a big fan of Shakhtar Donetsk. I've liked a lot of players from them. Willian, he came from Shakhtar Donetsk. I really like Tyson when he played for them. And just their squad in general, Marlos, Patrick Allen, Fernando, Dodo, their right back, Tete, Matvienko, Stepanenko, their goalkeeper I like a lot as well. Yeah, and I know there's more players on that squad, but Shakhtar Donetsk is just a team I really like. I also think they're really good at finding young Brazilian talent. So again, but they're going up against the likes of Inter and Real Madrid. I just don't see Shakhtar pulling this off. Again, I hope they do. I don't see it. As for FC Sheriff, they are the first Moldovan team in history to make the Champions League. So big round of applause for you, FC Sheriff. absolutely deserve it. I am so excited to see this team go up against Shakhtar and Inter and Real Madrid. They're going up against big teams. Now, are they going to beat them? No, probably not. But hey, props to Sheriff for making it. One of their players on the team, Adama Traore, I'm really liking him. And no, it's a different Adama Traore, but I like him. He's got good pace. Kolovas, I think they got this guy named Kolovas who scored a screamer in qualifying. So that group is going to be exciting for me because it's just an exciting group, even though Inter and Real are going to win it. Now, moving on to Group E, Bayern Munich, already going to circle them. Don't even need to look at the rest. Barcelona, already going to circle them. Bayern Munich, by the way, from Germany, Barcelona from Spain. And then the last two teams remaining in the group, Benfica from Portugal, and then Dynamo Kyiv from Ukraine. Now, Dynamo Kyiv, like Shakhtar Donetsk, top side in Ukraine. They've won the title for the past however many seasons. Very good team. I like Shakhtar better, though, me personally. Yeah, Bayern Munich and Barca are going to top the groups here. They're going to be the two moving on. Benfica and Dynamo Kyiv, I don't really think stand a chance. That's that. Now, Group F, Villarreal from Spain, Manchester United from England. I'm just going to circle them right now. They got Ronaldo and a ton of other players. They're moving on. Atalanta from Italy, I'm going to already circle them as well. And then BSC Young Boys from Switzerland. I'm happy to see these guys in the Champions League. They're a really good Swiss side, top Swiss team. And it's good to see them in European competition, as well as Villarreal. But again, Young Boys, Villarreal, I don't think they stand a chance against Man United. I don't even really think they stand a chance against Atalanta. So United and Atalanta are the teams moving on for me in Group F. Now, Group G, Lille from France. Currently, they're the French champions. All right. Then you got Sevilla from Spain, Red Bull Salzburg from Austria, and then Wolfsburg from Germany. That's going to be a competitive group. Now, I'm going to go with Sevilla from Spain as my first circle because I do think they're going to move on. And then I'm going to go with this is a tough one because that's a competitive group. Okay, I know Lille are the French champions and all that, but so far they've had a shaky start to League One. Wolfsburg has had a really good start in the Bundesliga, and Salzburg are doing all right. You know what? I'm gonna take a bold prediction here. I'm not playing it. I'm gonna take a bold prediction here and say Salzburg. Yeah, I'm gonna say Sevilla and Salzburg top this group and move on. That's what I'm gonna say. Now, moving on to Group H then. So, by the way, I'm pretty sure I already said it, but Lille's from France, Sevilla's from Spain, Salzburg's from Austria, and I'm pretty sure I said it already. Now, to complete the Champions League group stages, Group H, Chelsea. I don't even need to look. Circling them already. From England. Juventus, not even going to look. Circling them. They're from Italy, by the way. Now, even though Juventus just lost Cristiano Ronaldo, doesn't matter. Still a top team, top side in Italy. They're moving on. And then the last two teams in Group H are Zenit St. Petersburg from Russia, top Russian side, really fun to watch. And then Malmo from Sweden, who I actually rate. I like Malmo, but again, against the likes of Chelsea, Juventus, that group, that's what I think is going to be moving on. So a recap of the Champions League group stages. These are the teams I believe will move on to the knockout stages. Man City, PSG, Atletico Madrid, AC Milan, Borussia Dortmund, Ajax, Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Man United, Atalanta, Sevilla, Red Bull Salzburg, Chelsea, and Juventus. If you have any thoughts of your own of who you think is going to move on in the Champions League, leave it down in the comments below. I would love to know. Now moving on to the Europa League, baby. Europa time. So we're going to do it the exact same way as the Champions League. I'm going to go through each group, each team, and I'm going to circle the top two teams that I think will move on to the knockout stages of the Europa League. Now, Group A, you've got Lyon from France, Rangers from Scotland, Sparta Praha from Czechoslovakia, I believe. Yeah, from Czechoslovakia. And then Brøndby from Denmark. I'm going to go with Lyon from France and then Rangers from Scotland. I like Rangers a lot. I know they have their Liverpool ties and connections, and I mean, they have a former Liverpool legend as a manager, but I do like Rangers a lot as a team. They're one of the top teams in Scotland, if not the top team. The other top team we'll be talking about later. And yeah, and I think Lyon, I still think their class, their quality. And I think, Sparta Praha, they're good. They're cool. And Brøndby, I just don't think they're enough to beat Lyon and Rangers. So Lyon and Rangers, moving on. Now, Europa League, now Group B of the Europa League. You got Monaco from France, PSV Eindhoven from the Netherlands, Real Sociedad from Spain, and then you've got Sturm from Austria. I bet a lot of you haven't even heard of Sturm before, but I'm not picking them to move on, unfortunately, for them. I am picking PSV from the Netherlands, and I am picking Real Sociedad from Spain. I just don't think Monaco will be necessarily good enough to move on this time around. And again, I like PSV. They always seem to be one of the title contenders in the Eredivisie League in Holland, Netherlands. So again, those are going to be my two teams. Group C, you got Napoli. Do I even have to look? No. Circling them. Leicester City. You kidding me? In England, one of the top teams in the Prem. Circling them as well. The rest of the teams in that group, Spartak Moskva from Russia, top team in Russia, but don't see him being the likes of Leicester and Napoli or getting too many points off them. And then you got Legia from Poland, a Polish team who I don't really think, again, top Polish side, one of the most successful in Poland, actually. So go check them out if you like, but I don't see them beating Napoli or Leicester. So those are my two moving on. Now, Group D. This is going to be a group to watch in the Europa League. This is going to be a competitive group. You've got Olympiacos from Greece, who have been a top team in Greece for a long time. Eintracht Frankfurt from Germany, who can be good. Fenerbahce, an amazing Turkish team. A lot of history in Fenerbahce. And then you got Antwerp from Belgium, who can pull wonders. Group D is going to be a group to watch out for. This is going to be a tough one to pick. I'm actually going to go with Fenerbahce. I like Fenerbahce. I like the history they have as a team, and I like the club. So Fenerbahce is going to be my first circle. Oh, and then the last three are hard. You know what? I'm going to go with Olympiacos. I like Olympiacos. Former Kevin Morales came from in Olympiacos. I like him as a Greek. So that Greek team, I'm going to go with them and Fenerbahce. And honestly, you could go with Frankfurt or Antwerp. It's a toss-up, but I hope that those teams move on for me. Now, Group E. Lazio, don't even have to look. Circling them in already. Top Italian side. Ciro Immobile is amazing. And then you got Lokomotiv Moskva from Russia. You got Marseille from France. And then you got Galatasaray from Turkey. So this is another group that's going to be fun to watch. Group E in the Europa League. So I already circled Lazio. And I'm debating between Galatasaray and Marseille. Because Galatasaray, they've actually got a good team, but I'm gonna go with Marseille from France. I'm gonna go with Marseille. So Lazio, Marseille. Although I wouldn't mind if Galatasaray moves on either. So those two for me. Moving on. So Group F then in the Europa League, you got FC Braga from Portugal. Then you got Crvena Zvezda from Serbia. I love Crvena Zvezda. Like that team a lot. You got Ludogorets from Bulgaria, and then you got FC Midtjylland from Denmark, who have been a top side in Denmark for a while. My first circle is going to be Crvena Zvezda. I really like Crvena Zvezda as a club. You know, they're like the only Serbian team I really enjoy watching play. So, yeah, I'm going with them. And then I'm going to go with Braga from Portugal, FC Braga. So those two moving on. I don't think Ludogorets and FC Midtjylland will get too many points, especially off Crvena Zvezda. So there's that. Hopefully those two move on. Now, Group G in the Europa League, you got Bayer Leverkusen, Celtic, who is arguably the greatest Scottish team of all time. I mean, them and Rangers are big rivals, and those two are always competing for the title. Those two are the most competitive in the Scottish league. So there's that. And then you got Real Betis from Spain, and then you got Ferencváros from Hungary, a Hungarian team, which is really, really cool. I'm going to go with Celtic because I do want to see Celtic move on. So I'm going to go with Celtic, and I'm going to go with Bayer Leverkusen as well. So even though Betis would have been a good option, but Bayer Leverkusen, Celtic for me. And then Group H, the last group of the Europa League, you got Dinamo Zagreb from Croatia, who are a great side, by the way. Top team in Croatian football. I think Luka Modric came from there, actually. I think he came from there. Then you got Genk from Belgium. You've got West Ham for me. I'm circling West Ham. No doubt about it in my mind. West Ham's going to move on. West Ham have an amazing roster, by the way. They're going to do well in the Europa League, in my opinion. Then you got Rapid Wien from Austria. So I already circled West Ham in this group. The second tier, I'm going to go with Dinamo Zagreb. Yeah, I like Dinamo a lot. I'm going to go with Dinamo Zagreb from Croatia. And that's going to complete who I believe will be moving on in the Europa League knockout stages. Again, here are my picks. Lyon, Rangers, PSV, Eindhoven, Real Sociedad, Napoli, Leicester City, Olympiacos, Fenerbahce, Lazio, Marseille, Braga, Cervena Vezda, Leverkusen, Celtic, Dinamo Zagreb, and West Ham. So that's going to complete the Europa League, who I think is moving on. Again, let me know down in the comments below who you believe is going to move on in the Europa League. And last but not least, the newly founded first year Europa Conference League. Again, I am so excited for the Europa Conference League because, again, all these top teams, they still play in the top teams in their country, okay? And you know, bringing in the Conference League, not only will it be a European trophy at stake, a big European competition, but it introduces, again, a lot of teams that I feel, you know, a lot of y'all don't know about because, again, they aren't noticed in these competitions, but now they are. I am so excited. We're going to do the exact same thing like we did for Europa League and Champions League. I'm going to circle the top 2 teams I think will be moving on. So starting with Group A, you've got LASK, LASK from the Austrian League. Then you've got Maccabi Tel Aviv from the Israeli League. You've got Alashkert from Armenia and HJK from Finland. Their name, by the way, I don't know how to pronounce it. Like, look it up. It is quite the name. I'm going to go with Maccabi Tel Aviv as my first choice moving on. Again, top Israeli side, one of the most decorated Israeli teams ever, I believe. I'm really excited to see Maccabi Tel Aviv. And then the last 3, a little bit of a toss-up, but I'm going to go with LASK, LASK from Austria. I'm going to go with them moving on. So Maccabi Tel Aviv, LASK, LASK from Group A. Now moving on to Group B of the Europa Conference League. You've got Gent, which is a Belgium side, Partizan, a Serbian team, not as good as Cervena Vezda though, Flora from Estonia, and then Anorthosis from Cyprus, okay? From Cyprus. I'm going to go with Gent from Belgium, and I'm going to go with Partizan from Serbia. I think those 2 teams will move on and will get more points off the likes of Flora and Anorthosis. Although it's going to be so exciting watching all these groups and all these teams. Like, it's going to be so much fun. And then Group C, you've got Roma. That's right, Roma from Italy. I'm circling them immediately. Roma are my favorites, by the way, for the Conference League. I think Roma's going to win the Conference League, and Jose Mourinho, manager of Roma, my favorite manager, is going to show why he still got it and he can still win European competitions. And I know some of you may say, oh, it's the Conference League, it's not Europa or Champions League. It's still a European competition, and these teams are top teams in their country. They may not be Champions League level, may not even be Europa League level, but again, that's why the Conference League exists, because there are still amazing teams out there. And although Roma, I believe, are going to win it all. I think Jose Mourinho is going to get another trophy, in which I believe he fully deserves. But they're going to have to battle for it against these other teams. That's why it's going to be so much fun to watch, just like it's so much fun to watch Europa and Champions League. Anyway, Roma, circling them for Group C. They're from Italy, by the way. And then the next team, you got Zorya Luhansk from Ukraine. You got CSKA Sofia from Bulgaria. And then you got Bodo Glimt from Norway. I'm going to go with Zorya Luhansk from Ukraine, the Ukrainian league, because, again, I tend to like those kind of teams. I mean, Shakhtar, Dynamo Kyiv, although, again, Shakhtar is my favorite. Don't get me wrong. But, yeah, I'm going to go with those 2 teams. Best of luck, though, to Bodo Glimt and CSKA Sofia. Now, moving on to Group D, you've got AZ Alkmaar from the Eredivisie League in the Netherlands. Then you got CFR Cluj from Romania. Then you got Jablonec from Czechoslovakia Republic. And then you've got Randers from Denmark. That's going to be a fun group to watch as well. I'm going to go with AZ Alkmaar from the Netherlands And then I'm going to go with is this a toss-up group as well? Um I'm gonna go with Jablanek. I'm gonna go with Jablanek from Czechoslovakia, Czech league right there. I'm gonna go with them. So as Alkmaar and Jablanek, although again it's a toss-up, which is why I think the Europa Conference League is going to be underrated and really competitive because a lot of these teams from the groups are toss-ups. It could go either way. Now, Group E from the Europa Conference League, you've got Slavia Praha from Czechoslovakia, Feyenoord from the Netherlands, top team in the Netherlands, Eredivisie League. Union Berlin from Germany, Bundesliga, and then Maccabi Haifa and another Israeli team. So cool to see those kind of teams in here. I'm gonna go with Slavia Praha from Czechoslovakia. I really like Slavia Praha a lot, and then I'm gonna go with Feyenoord from the Netherlands. Union Berlin is a shout, but again, I think Feyenoord and Slavia Praha will just have more class to beat these teams, maybe each other. So those are my two teams moving on. Group F then from the Europa Conference League. You got Copenhagen from Denmark, PAOK or PAOK from Greece. I love PAOK, whatever you say, PAOK from Greece. I'm circling them immediately. This is a top side in Greece, by the way. Like Olympiacos, they've been a really good side in Greece. They actually did an Invincibles one season. They went undefeated and won their league, which is just an amazing feat. I really like that Greek team. I'm going for them, circling them immediately. Then you've got Slovan Bratislava from Slovakia. And then you've got the Lincoln Red Imps from Gibraltar, which is really cool and superb. I circled PAOK already, and I'm going to circle Copenhagen as well. I think Copenhagen are a good team in Denmark, and I think they'll beat the likes of the Lincoln Red Imps and Slovan Bratislava, although that team could be a sleeper. Who knows? In Group G then of the Europa Conference League, Tottenham Hotspur, England, circling them right away. Then you've got Rennes from France. Then you got Vitesse from the Netherlands, and then you got Mura from Slovenia, a Slovenian side. Well, I think Tottenham's moving on. But I think Rennes from France. I think Rennes, however you say it, from France. I think that'll be the second team moving on in that group. And yeah, that's that. And then Group H, last but not least, you've got FC Basel from Switzerland. I'm circling them immediately. They're one of the best sides in history, I believe. Very decorated side in the Switzerland League, in the Swiss League. I'm circling them as already moving on. Then you've got Karabakh from Azerbaijan. Then you've got Kairat from Kazakhstan. And then you've got Omanoiwa from Cyprus. So again, a very fun group that's going to be to watch. You know what? I'm going to go with Kairat from Kazakhstan. I'm going to pick them moving on next. How cool would it be to see a team from Kazakhstan moving on in the next stages of the Europa Conference League? So I'm going to go with them. I mean, and that concludes my predictions of who's moving on in the knockout stages of the Europa Conference League. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll tell you all the teams again in case you forgot. We got LASK Lask from Austria, Maccabi Tel Aviv from Israel, Gent from Belgium, Partizan from Serbia, Roma from Italy, Zorya Luhansk from Ukraine, AZ Alkmaar from Netherlands, Jablanek from Czechoslovakia, Slavia Praha from Czechoslovakia, Feyenoord from Netherlands, Copenhagen from Denmark, PAOK of Greece, Tottenham from England, Rennes from France, Basel from Switzerland, and Kairat from Kazakhstan. Those are the teams I'll be moving on, that I think will be moving on in the Europa Conference League knockout stages. And that's all I've got to say for today. The transfer news, the Champions League, Europa League, Conference League. Yeah, that's all for today, ladies and gentlemen. But, tell me what you think of the transfers regarding Everton or other world players. Tell me what you think of the Ronaldo situation. And, tell me in the comments below who you think will move on to the knockout stages of the Champions League, Europa League, and Europa Conference League. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. That would be fantastic. And again, if there's any other teams or any other players you want me to talk about on this football podcast, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, if you've stayed for this long, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel podcast if you haven't already, turn on your bell notification so you don't miss an episode. And please continue to spread the word about this channel. So that way, when we get it, more people enough and more subscribers, I can start doing interviews and introducing local stars. So please spread the word if you haven't already. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much again for joining me on another episode of the channel. And until next time.